where do we end up if we think the higher-lower pleasure distinction all the way through? We haven't completely tied two things together yet, but if you think back to Mill's answer to the objection that happiness can't be a realistic proposal for the ultimate goal of human life, that's the second objection on the handout, because there's always going to be a large majority of the human race who, for whatever reason, can't become happy. I want to focus now on the second part of Mill's answer to it, which is that most of the causes of unhappiness in the world can be removed through common effort. Okay, we have to be careful not to pass that by too quickly. What's actually going on here? I think that in order to see, we have to ask ourselves, what would be our motivation as individuals to step out of our preoccupation with our own lives and pleasures and participate in the giant collective project of making other people's lives better? And Mill's answer is really surprising when you think about it. It is that we will be motivated to restructure the world if we get really serious about our own pleasure and try to become the most efficient and effective pleasure seekers we can. What? No, that's exactly what Mill is proposing. That we pay attention to the fact that we actually enjoy pursuing the higher pleasure of helping others become happier, even more than we enjoy pursuing our own individual pleasures. So Mill wants us to stay on that road of pursuing our own higher pleasures with consistency and commitment, to lean into precisely this pursuit of pleasure that some people want to warn us against. And Mill thinks that if we do lean in just this way, if we go all the way down the road of pursuing pleasure above everything else, we will actually end up trading all of our higher pleasures. We will actually end up trading all of our lower pleasures for the higher pleasure of working on this giant collective social project of making the world better for everyone by getting rid of ignorance, poverty, disease, and even what most people think of as bad luck. In other words, we'll end up doing what some people call self-sacrifice, although Mill doesn't think that's the right label for it. We'll end up doing what some people think is pursuing something higher than pleasure, of being motivated by really noble ideals to give up our own happiness in order to better the lives of others. For Mill, this project, however, is the absolutely consistent pursuit of pleasure. It's not a matter of giving up my happiness to ensure the happiness of others. It's really the precise opposite. I'm going to obtain my own happiness exactly by working on collective projects to ensure the happiness of others. And that's why it's so important to Mill that we overcome our bias against pleasure. Mill is convinced that by paying attention to pleasure and keeping our eye on that ball with absolute consistency, we will actually accomplish our highest ideals and the noblest aspirations that humanity is capable of. But next, we need to look at some of the weaknesses and limitations of Mill's theory, as we will do for each of the philosophers we study this term.